Welcome. You are now tuned into the Textually Active podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Textually Active.
Textually Active.
Your weekly dose of conversations about navigating the digital age while dealing with friendships, relationships, and all the ships in between. I'm Rez, and I got Meezy with me.
Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor.
And E is on the boards. And if you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, we have a beautiful face joining us. This is A Richbook.
What's good? Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. How you feeling?
I mean, I'm flabbergasted.
Okay.
I'm taking them back right now. So
Okay.
It's okay.
Enjoying the moment. All right.
Yes, I'm taking it in.
I mean,
I'm with celebrity podcasters, y'all.
Yes.
Okay?
Hey, you know a celebrity when you see one. Meezy, you gotta take it in.
I'm humble. I don't even want to put myself I just want to let y'all know I own my masters.
I mean, she said off cam. She said if you in North Carolina and you ain't come on TA, you ain't really doing nothing. That's what she said.
I said it.
Yeah.
Quote me, tweet me, tag me.
That's what she said. So, you know how, I'm the friendly co-host. I'm the one who is always making friends, always meeting new people. I live up to my name. Let me tell you a little something. A Richbook sent me a DM back in 2018 because I answer my DMs respectfully. And she's like, hey, I have this dope podcast for the love of millennials. I would love to have you on here to share your story. So is that episode still up?
Yeah.
It's still up. So if you want to hear that, go back to her podcast for the love of millennials and tune into that. But anyway, she reached out to me. We really hit it off. We had a good show. We had fun. We laughed. We joked. And she's my internet friend. And, we're in this mode with TA where we're just bigging up millennials. And I mean, A Richbook is a millennial. So
you love a little millennial.
Yes, for the love of millennials. Chill out. Put some respect on us.
So after last episode, I was like, you know what? Like, while I'm feeling millennials, she has a podcast for the love of millennials. Why not bring her on the show so that we could talk more about millennials and parenting specifically. But before we get to that, do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes. So my name is A Richbook and I am all things connecting. So I connect people to new ideas, new situations, solutions, and new perspectives. I host For the Love of Millennials podcast as well as the A Richbook show. So you'll hear different conversations versus For the Love of Millennials is about bringing people like yourselves on, like Rez was a guest on there where she's able to share her it factor. And then the A Richbook show is more so my perspective, my thoughts on growth and becoming better. So definitely, I'm here because I'm a millennial mom of 3 little girls. So I am a busy person.
You got 4 jobs, right?
I mean,
She don't work hard. She is a job.
Okay.
I'm the business. I'm trying to, differentiate. And you are. So what's funny is Rez's episode is called Get You a Rez. It's season 2, episode 13. Let me see what I wrote. Oh, shoot. It's about to play. Hold on. We don't want to play it right now. We just want to see what I wrote about Rez because she's so funny. Delaware born and raised. Rez is a non-traditional student and a podcaster by night. She pursued a career in education and went right into working into childcare. She loved kids. Tell her to come watch my kids.
I love the kids.
I love the kids. She decided to pursue a different career after losing her passion for teaching, as teachers didn't have the freedom to teach what they wanted. Mm-hmm. Yo, I remember that. We tried to record it when I was driving, back from Jersey. And I was like, yo, I definitely think we could record this while I'm driving. No, it definitely didn't work out. And I stopped and got Starbucks and everything. So that's crazy. Hosted by you and Meezy. That's crazy.
It was good. It was a good episode.
Look at how I get tagged into that.
Always. My friend Meezy. Well, thank you for coming. Yeah. Thank you for driving all the way from Raleigh to be a guest.
Absolutely.
You had something in your bag.
Oh, I got gifts. I got presents.
I ain't nosy, but
I mean, y'all ain't gotta call me, Santa or nothing. You ain't even gotta call me Jesus. Just call me, your sister friend. Okay.
Get from Santa to Jesus. Wow.
I mean, you gotta throw it in there. Believe what you want. So I brought you guys some For the Love of Millennials merch.
Bro, ain't nobody ever brought us merch.
For the love of
millennials.
I got you that denim right there. That that denim softens you up a little bit. And then E on the boys, I got you this black one right here.
Oh, this what? Listen, if y'all coming on TA, the bar has been set. It's no longer in hell. You got to bring us stuff. This For the Love of Millennial. Man, listen, I love this. Thank you so much for bringing this gift.
Attention. Niggas, share the post. We like to drink. I like potato chips. Them wise onion rings is my shit.
White Claws go off. Like, Trulies, tequila,
you got to bring something, not just yourself.
Yeah, don't just come with your two arms swinging. I love it.
Free something, because I know a bunch of you niggas is running shit, doing shit, services. Give us free something.
Man, I'm just here to serve. And I think that's what we miss out on opportunities, right? It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of experience. And definitely this is my way of thanking you guys for the opportunity to be here and chat it up with y'all.
It's hard, bro. Right. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm going to wear it the whole show.
And so before we get into the show, how you feeling, Meezy? You feeling good?
No.
Okay.
Why? What happened?
It's another. Did anybody see the weather? Like, it's been trash.
But the sun's still shining though.
It's been trash.
Meezy been in his bag for a few weeks.
It's been trash.
Oh, he in the bag? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm all right. Thanks for asking, Meezy.
Sorry.
How are you, Rez?
Oh yeah, I'm doing all right. Just thriving and surviving.
Okay.
Take care of home.
Mm-hmm. It's lit.
Mm-hmm. It's good. But speaking of taking care of home, you have a home to take care of, ma'am.
I got a home
with
a full home,
3 baby girls.
3 of them.
And I noticed that you don't have any hair, so I know what that means. Like, I know, because you had a lot of hair, friend. You had a lot of hair, friend. So when I see you with that haircut, I said, "Oh, so them 3 babies." I'm
like,
hair day.
It's either y'all hair or my hair, right? And they was just like, "Sis, you gonna have to let that shit go."
Nah, mommy, I need my ponytails. Wash day, mommy.
But what's funny is my 3-year-old and 2-year-old, they have locks. Okay. So when I had my locks, they wanted, like, we were all locked up. Like, we were a locked up family. And then my 3-year-old, she didn't want to cut hers when I cut mine. So I'm like, you don't want me to comb them out? No. She's like, no. And like this woman was like, oh, I like your twist. She's like, they're locks.
Oh.
I'm like, oh.
Love to see it.
Okay. And then the 2-year-old, she wants to be like the 3-year-old. So those are my 2 locked up shouties.
So you have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and then you have one more. How old is she?
She is turning 7. So,
wow.
And okay, we'll talk about this, but yeah, she's turning 7.
So we brought A Richbook on because last week we talked about millennials and the digital stuff. This week we kind of want to dig into the difference between parenting within generations, because me and Meezy, we're not fortunate enough to have kids yet. So we have to bring in other people that have kids. Meezy, don't look at me.
Speak for yourself. This has been a fortunate that I don't have none.
I'm being optimistic.
The fortune that I have, I get to keep.
The listeners up here, I'm sure they done snatched out their headphones like, bitch, you don't have kids.
I am very fortunate that I do not have. Okay. Relax.
So I wanted to talk about parenting as a millennial, especially with everything that's going on in the world. Your situation being a single mother, parenting those girls by yourself. So let's dig into that.
A black woman protecting 3 black women.
Yes.
Yo, that's crazy, because you just did my post verbatim.
Did I?
Yes. I put up a post yesterday.
Didn't even read it.
And it was just like, I don't want to talk about what's happening culturally around us, but I did put that post up and I'm like, look, you got a black woman protecting herself and her 3 black daughters who will become black women. But all in love, right? So definitely I'm all things love, light, and experiencing. And when it comes to parenting, I want to start with a post that I put up for Father's Day. And so my father he was there, but he wasn't there. And he wasn't like a deadbeat. He just worked all the time. But my parents were separated. So my experience was being raised primarily by my mother and, seeing my dad on the weekends. So my dad and I had a really tumultuous relationship because I'm very outspoken. I'm very strong-willed. And, most people say to young kids, oh, you need to stay in your place. I'm going to question you. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to challenge you. Like, why does it have to be this way? And I put a post up just saying, you know, we have to understand, taking our children out of the pictures, you guys don't have any, but looking at our parents, that they were just kids like we were kids. They were growing up like we were growing up. And when I reflect on my parents, they were 28 and 25 when they had me. So
my mother was 20 when she had me, and I think my dad was a little bit older. And I do remember like growing up, and it's like some things that when you look at it from that lens, which is completely different, like I couldn't imagine being a mother now at 30. I don't know what it would be. Definitely at 20. Man, my foot would be out the window smoking a cigarette too. Yeah. Like having a good time, still trying to be a mother. Yeah. But the part about not being able to express yourself is a real thing. It was a lot of, and it didn't necessarily come from my parents, but a lot of stay in a child's place from their older siblings or from your grandparents. Yeah. When you're just trying to be curious about what they're talking about, you're asking questions. It's like, stay in a child's place. But I really genuinely want to know what's going on. Right. And I want to be able to express myself. Right. And I don't feel like we had that luxury growing up.
Absolutely. And I have conversations with my children. And people oftentimes forget that my children are the ages that they are. And like people right now think my 7-year-old is already 10. And I'm like, nah, she's 6. And then my 3-year-old, like their intelligence, their ability to communicate, because that's what it comes to developing. Like, let's talk about it. Let me hear your perspective. Let me hear why. Or if I tell them not to do something, let me demonstrate to you why not. Let me explain it to you why not. And so when people have come to my house, when I moved, so I recently just moved, bought a big ass house, y'all. Bought a big ass house. So that's a whole nother, like, it's possible. It's so possible. But when my daughters, when I, you know, you just move in, you're a single mom, the kids are everywhere. And I brought them all together. And I was like, Emery, Ava, Jace, tell me why mommy's upset right now. Or tell me what's the issue or why you're going to get in trouble. And my friends were like, just sitting around like y'all, they were like, let's see this. And each of them were, even down to the 2-year-old, because I wasn't listening and I was running. And then the 6-year-old was like, because you told me not to. And they're like, yo, they really just repeated back to you without you telling them what they did. And I'm like, because kids comprehend, but when you treat them as if they don't understand and they're subservient, you're limiting their ability to think critically and to think further than where you are. So yeah. I know that was like a long-winded answer.
That's fire. I ain't gonna hold you. That's cool as shit. Like, just to be able to like, you're probably mad, but you didn't have to express that. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we're used to, if anybody's in this house is mad, they're gonna, because they pay the bills, they take care of everything, you're gonna feel why everybody in this house is mad. Yep. And it's like, at some point, what you just did is what everybody's got to do. Yeah. You got to like realize, no matter what your situation is, it's reflective of the children. And they're going to be upset and they're going to find a reason to be mad at you because you mad at them. Yeah. Versus like, look, my fault. We've been doing this. You ain't want us to do this and we knew we wasn't supposed to do it. You don't ever get that conversation with your parents. That's fire.
And then when you have that conversation, it's like, all right, so if you know you're not supposed to do that, well, why are you doing it? Come on. I'm like, we better than that, right?
And it saves you like a lot of time. Like, bro, I don't have to yell. I don't have to be upset. I ain't got to go get a bell. I ain't got to whoop no ass. Right. I ain't got to then come see you later to then have this conversation with you again. Like, the only reason I was mad at you is because you. It's just like, bro, let's just save myself the headache.
Yeah. I don't even have to yell.
I don't even have to do
That's funny because in preschool, like teaching preschool for the amount of time that I did, I can't beat nobody kid. So talking to them and I know that kids are able to comprehend the things that you are saying. I can't hit nobody else's kids, but I can talk them down. So I can say, hey, come here. Why are you doing what you're doing? And most times they will tell you exactly why they're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. I know Eric laughs at me all the time, but I say, I don't believe in like hitting kids because I had to deal with children in a class setting without hitting them and was still able to get them under control. As I got older, I realized, maybe sometimes you do need a little pow pow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk a little bit more about discipline.
Yeah.
How did you guys experience discipline as children?
We got my ass whooped.
You got your ass whooped?
We got my ass whooped. If I like sit down and break this down, I was probably verbally abused.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably called all kinds of names.
Mm-hmm.
Like it got to the point where it's just a thing Black moms do.
Mm-hmm.
They only know lash out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because as I go older and it becomes me, it's just life weighing down on you.
Yeah.
And when you're in your home, this is where you're supposed to find peace. And when shit ain't how you want it to be, this is your boiling point to lash out.
So I definitely want to speak to that. But before I do, I definitely grew up getting my ass beat too.
Yeah.
Like getting my ass beat. And I'm talking about privileges being stripped from me. So a lot of my life experiences came from like this complete sheltered life. And like, as far as my formative years, that caused me to make decisions out of like rebellion, right? Because you like, shit, I ain't get to do whatever I want. And now I could do whatever I want with no repercussion. And then it gets old. And then you like, well, this shit whack anyway. And then you find yourself in different environments and situations. But what it comes down to, on another podcast I was on, and I was explaining to them about parenthood and how I teach my children, like the most important thing that I'm instilling into my children is emotional intelligence and self-love. And that's like, even me as a mother, like things that I'm working on is my emotional intelligence, like improving, because I was brought up, you whoop kids, like whoop they ass.
Right.
Like if they not listening, beat they ass. Like my cousin and my sister, they'll probably see this and laugh. They sent me a meme. Both of them sent me a meme. They said, nobody says, do you want me to beat your ass more than a parent ain't beating no ass? And that's me. I'd be like, do y'all want me to beat your ass? And they just like, sis,
you ain't gonna do it.
Sis.
They sit back there, they probably roll their eyes.
Sis, like what you talking about? But then there are times where I have whooped them out of my, like, I don't know what else to do. And then I transitioned that and I was like, okay, I'm going to try something different. Y'all might laugh at me, but I tried this for my 2-year-old, my 3-year-old. People who know Ava is my no limit soldier. She not a problem child. Romeo. She is, okay, so this is how I explain it. I never want to call, I don't call my girls like problem child. But when my empire get old and I'm ready to go out this world, and I'm like, all right, sell this particular business for $5 million. Emery, my oldest, she was like, okay, we'll take it for $3 million. That's cool. My baby, Jace, she'll be like, well, shit, what's in it for me? Like, I don't care. Just run me my money. But Ava,
the middle one,
Ava
get the bag.
She gonna be like, my mama said $5 million. If you keep fucking with me, I'm gonna sell it to you for $9 million. I'm sorry, I'm definitely cursing on answer. But she's like, definitely.
Girl, we cuss.
Like, definitely, y'all keep fucking with me. I'm gonna sell it to you for $9 million.
That's the one. That's the shooter.
That's my straight shooter. She do not play. So I was like, all right, Ava. I said, what are you doing? Is that what mommy asked you to do? All right, bring it in. And she was like,
yeah, she was scared.
She was scared. And I was like, nah, I don't want them to be afraid of me, because we were ruled by fear. Mm-hmm. We were taught to fear our parents. And that's how we end up, like, our culture is so, man, we just got a lot of healing to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And I think it's a dangerous game when you play that discipline game, because most times when you're disciplining your children, it's coming out in frustration. Mm-hmm. So it's not coming from a calm, where you're level-headed, you're able to respond. And I didn't grow up I don't remember getting my ass whooped. Like, I might have got a pow, and I could be lying, because, sometimes with trauma, you dig it away. But anyway,
got it.
Like, that should never happen.
Yeah,
it's true. It's
but
true.
I do remember one ass whooping that sticks out in my mind, and I think it was the last ass whooping that I got. But when you see like the rage in your parents' face, it's traumatizing. Like, getting whooped like that it takes a toll on you emotionally. And when you grow up and you've been through that, you don't want to put your children through that. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to fear you, because then it turns into relationships as adults where they can't tell you anything because they're scared of how you're going to react.
Sat and thought about the ass whoopings you got And then now as an adult rationalize like, fam, you the reason I got this ass whooping. It's not my fault you have to go to work and nobody was helping me with my homework. Like, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and
you, like, I got an ass whooping because my progress report was bad. But you wasn't helping me do the shit. You just thought I was doing it. And of course, as a kid, I wasn't gonna do the shit.
Yeah. And that's why I wrote like that. My understanding with parents, like even my parents, like understanding like where they were. Like that was their path. That was the only way that they knew. And then when you look at their parents, they're just replicating. Like it's just a reproductive cycle. Like it's just repeating itself over and over. And so it's up to us to change those dynamics. It's up to us. So like now, earlier this morning, I had to take my 7-year-old to go get her hair done. She was not listening. First thing, I'm like, did you do your affirmations this morning? Yeah, I'm about to go do them right now. She came back to my room in less than a minute. Bruh, did you do all them affirmations? Yeah, I did. All right. So what I'm about to tell you to do, you go get them affirmations. You're going to do them right here in my mirror. And if it takes longer than the minute that it took you to go upstairs to your room and come back, the hair appointment that you got is canceled. I said, so you got an option. You can go upstairs to your room and really do them, or you can go get them and bring them down here. Which would you prefer? Oh, I'm going to go to my room and do it. Again, still wasn't listening. All right, you did your affirmation. Now you're not listening. Okay, now you need to go sit down, do your affirmations. Now I have a prayer room in my house. So I'm like, now you need to go sit in the prayer room. Now you need to go meditate. It's a lot going on here. It's a lot because I'm like, you need to handle it. So when she came back, I'm like, okay, what did you come up with in your time that I need to take my time and I need to listen? I'm really excited. I know she's excited about getting her hair done. I know that. But sis, that doesn't mean that you respond or react these type of ways. Emotional intelligence. But those are things that I'm learning myself. That I'm like, yo, if they can master this right now, eventually they'll be beasts in business and personal life.
But do you see, I think it comes with a level of patience that you have to have because
black people don't have that patience.
I'm sure whooping ass would have been way quicker than saying, go get your affirmation.
You could have whooped his ass. Yeah. We can do these affirmations later. We got to go.
Whoop the ass, go sit in the prayer room and pray about, okay. All right. Yeah. But you know what else? As we were sitting here talking, which is very toxic, stop crying before I give you something to cry about.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
How
I'm already crying.
How now you telling me you gonna beat me if I stop if I don't start and you the reason I'm crying to begin with?
It's the devalue of children and their issues
and their emotions, how they feel.
Like if you told me that you was gonna give me something to cry about, that means you believe what I was crying about right now wasn't worth shit. And it's really.
So I got a story for that. That happened to me today. My 3-year-old, she was sitting up. She was on her tab. Didn't make her take a nap today. I'm like, I know I'm going to be gone. Whoever's like caring for them while I'm gone, I need them to be on their best behavior. So I'm like, Ava, I'm going to need you to turn off your tablet and I need you to go take a nap. When you wake up, you can get your tablet back. Full out crying, stomped up the stairs. I'm like, Ava, bring your ass back down here. Yes. Why are you crying? For nothing. No. Let's talk about it. Why are you crying? Oh, because you don't want to take a nap? No. Okay. Not taking a nap or not wanting to take a nap is not reason enough to cry. It's not worth your tears. I said, because guess what? I said, when you wake up, what do you get? My tablet. So you understand. So in that case, so I know what you're saying. Like if I'm crying, you call me ugly, you call me chunky or something, and I start crying and you like, man, shut the fuck up.
I'm going to keep it a buck.
I'll whoop your ass.
I'm going to keep it a buck. Ava might have a point. She might have a point. Like, I cry now when I, like, if I don't get a nap, like, a nap is worth crying for. Like,
right. As a 3-year-old, but then teaching her, like, you're not losing. Right? You see what I'm saying? You're not losing it, not devaluing or taking her tears away, but you're going to cry. You know what happens? Because that's part of the emotional intelligence and the emotional balance. Right. You cry when you scrape your knee because you're in pain and you need me to help care for it. But now all you're doing is you're taking a rest. You're rejuvenating yourself. Let me help you understand the importance of this rejuvenation. That type of experience versus
you're going to miss them naps, baby girl.
Son, I tried to take a nap before I came. bruh, my best friend is here. She's like, bro, you gotta get up. I'm like, for real? I said, I did say I was going to drive there, right? She's like, yeah, bro.
Did you cry?
Did I cry?
A little bit.
No, I groaned. I groaned. I was just like,
yeah,
like
I don't cry.
You know how you like throw the covers off? You, like, you just throw the covers off. You like, fuck.
Yeah. So, okay. So your baby has a tablet. This is something else I wanted to touch on.
How free are you with this tablet?
Right.
What are we? Because
she's crying about the tablet.
Time out. These kids today are watching some of the wildest things like kids today like to watch other kids play video games online.
What is that about?
Not ask for the video game so I can play it. Just use my tablet to watch the other kids play the game.
So I appreciate you guys bringing me on to speak about millennial parenting. I am not the end all be all. How I am choosing to raise my children is not conclusive. So this is only A Richbook's method of parenting.
I like it.
My kids don't do that. Okay? I'm so different, y'all. I'm so different. So on my kid's tablet, so Ava knows Spanish. One time she started talking to me in Spanish and I was just like, what? Because I had put ABC Mouse on the tablet, but somehow it went into Spanish, but it wasn't in English. So she was playing like these games in Spanish.
Fire.
And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to just leave it. My sister was like, oh, just leave it in Spanish. She'll learn. So I I control. So I give my kids what I call people controlled freedom. What does that mean? You get to have what you want. Like, I'm giving you choices to pick from. So in my kids' head, they pick out their clothes every single day. But I put out 3 different shirts. These are your options that you get to choose.
What are you going to do on the day when they wake up? It's rigged, Mom! I don't see my polka dot skirt and I want it. It's rigged.
No, and sometimes that happens. And then there are those days where they'll have on like a poofy skirt and like some wild shirt and just being able to allow them that freedom. Because I'm like, okay, 5 days out the week, I'm telling them what they can wear without telling them what they can wear. And they're like, oh, okay. So the control freedom
is like, you know, like on the tablet, how the game just like create your player and they give you, that's like what I like in my head picture. Like she's actually the one playing the tablet game, but in real life, like here, these are your options. You put your own outfit together however you want to do it. But this is what you got to choose.
You got 3 shirts and 3 pants.
That's hilarious.
Which ones do you want to put together?
That's
right.
funny.
And it don't matter what you choose because it's all going to look right. So like Emery, I don't do like social media or watch the news or whatever in my house, but she's on TikTok. Ooh. And so she was just like, Mom, the king died. I'm like, yo, who? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick. I'm like, who told you this? It's all over TikTok. So then, like, I didn't understand TikTok. And this is where I encourage parents. Like, I will sit there and go watch Emery watch TikTok. I want to see what she's watching. I want to see who she's following. But when I learned about that, from that, she's so open-minded. She's like, I'm about to go to Howard and then I'm going to play his daughter in the next Black Panther. I'm like,
I like that.
Okay. All right. You want to go to Howard? Okay.
There's a lot of pros that as adults we don't get because we know how to decipher the pros and cons, and we're very attracted to the cons. We see that, hey, if I show my ass, I can get a lot of attention, which leads to money. Because I feel like everything everybody does now, regardless of if it's positive or negative, it's for fame, which leads to some type of money, which leads to some type of status. And it's really your decision how you want to use your status. Right. But I feel like that's what it is. So as adults, we don't get to see like Chadwick Boseman died is on TikTok.
Right.
And, this leads to, hey, maybe I could go to a HBCU. Right. Maybe I could do my dreams. Because we are fucking adults. We like, nigga, we saw what life is. Right. Our innocence is gone. Right. And we know what life is. And it's crazy now. Right. And in hindsight, we should probably still use our innocence until we die.
Right. Like, absolutely. All of that.
Just because you 30 don't mean you can't go back to college. Just because you 45 don't mean you can't start a business. Just because you like it's motherfuckers in 60s having children, like you can always do what you want.
There's no timing on anything, and I think that's what people don't understand. Like life isn't like this is just what it is.
Oh my gosh, because if we would have listened to our parents, I mean,
we wouldn't be
get married, have kids, raise your kids, put your kids through college, tell them to get married, tell them to have kids, put their kids through college, like that same old cycle.
And none of them niggas did that.
Wait.
Huh? Listen. What?
What? Them niggas did not do that.
What?
Like.
That's why I feel like I said this on another podcast too, y'all. I was like, I did what my grandma said. Okay. Met somebody, got married, had children. I was just like, this is not moving me forward. Wow. This is not moving me forward. And so people would say, what? And they said, well, I did get married super early, super young.
How young were you?
21.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that is young.
That was 21. The liquor talk.
You said that was what?
That was the liquor talk. With that.
No, and see what, like, this is on the record so people know. My husband was my first boyfriend. He was my first everything. So when grandma said, like, how you do, never had a hickey till I met my husband. All that. Yes, I'm talking about life.
Oh my gosh, did you guys meet in high school?
In college.
Okay.
Yes, in college.
Oh, so you was like real good.
I was good.
Until college.
I mean, I was good in college too. I was good in college. What are you talking about?
I mean,
I was. And even in college, people were like, yo, people knew that Amber was not with nobody. So when I popped up with old buddy, they were like, nigga, now you know you're not doing it. Then I popped up with a baby. Then we popped up married. Then I popped up with another baby. And then when the third baby came, it was just like my life had declined. And so when I talk to people about relationships, commitments, it's like you have to be willing to grow with your partner. Ooh. And we began to grow apart. And so people were like, well, how can you grow apart? Well, if you're not choosing to grow together, you will grow apart. So I'm a very spiritual person. I consider myself like an omnist. So I see truth in everything. And so in my particular experience, I had a dream, 2 parallel beams going straight up. One kept going straight, one veered off. When you veer off horizontally, the horizontal path is chasing the money, is chasing the degrees, is chasing the material things. And then the vertical path are the intangibles like character, healing, love, like all those things that you can't buy. I continued on this vertical path and my partner at the time decided to pursue other things. And because I wanted to focus on becoming better and healing and like, okay, my parents got a divorce. Your parents didn't work out. Our grandparents and all these generations. How can we heal this? I can't heal this by myself. And it became not fulfilling. It became toxic. And so I chose to walk away. Right. And when I chose to walk away, there wasn't it was the best thing that I ever did. Like people would say, well, didn't that hurt? It hurt like hell. Mm-hmm. I walked away when I was 6 weeks pregnant with our third child. That's how much I realized like this is not going to move us forward because a lot of people stay in relationships that are not fueling them and moving them forward because of the kids, right? They stay and I stayed long enough because I'm like, you know, my kids, they finally get to they all got the same father.
Right.
Just so everybody know, because people be like, oh, she got, not that anything's wrong with that, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
People need to mind their business about people baby daddies. Mind your business, okay?
No, but I swear to God, when I tell people that I like their first question is like, are they all his? Like, really? Really?
No, like why do people even, that needs to go in the trash along with, are you pregnant?
Or with a baby?
You know why?
Yeah.
She used a white voice.
Yeah, I know why. I know exactly who asked that. It was a white woman.
She used a white voice.
Yeah. Trying to tell y'all. But just realizing it and being able to love yourself that much, but also love that other person that much to realize like, hey, I'm not moving you forward either. So me
which is rare.
Yeah, like I love you that much to say, nah, I want to walk away. But you cannot do things to people and not expect consequences, right? Okay. You have to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally balanced. For real, like I'm trying to tell y'all, if I could leave y'all with anything, as a millennial parent, as a millennial friend, building friendships, building relationships, because we are still young, like turning 60, that's 30 years from now. Look how long it took us to get to our early 30s. And imagine what we can accomplish much more if we're intentional and mindful about where we're spending our time and where we're investing in ourselves. But yeah, like that whole healing process, being pregnant and still mothering my children and still working full time, there were people who would say to me, I don't know how you do it because I would be depressed. I would be this. I would be that. And I'd be like, well, shit, thank God you ain't me then.
Right. That's
thank
tough.
God.
I feel like you really took it the way that you're supposed to take it. Whenever I'm talking to anybody and they're going through something, my first thing is, are you happy? And if the answer is no, I don't care what else is on the table. Like, you need to focus on your happiness. Mm-hmm. If you're not putting yourself first, or if I'm asking you why you aren't happy, and it has something else to do with somebody else. Oh, I can't do this because of such and such. Mm-hmm. I can't do this because it's going to hurt their feelings or they're not going to like me. It's not about them. Yeah. It's about you. You have to wake up with yourself every day. You have to go to sleep with yourself every day. You have to bathe yourself in the shower every day. You want to do that unhappy? Yep. Like, I think that is very dope. It's brave of you to leave with a baby in your stomach and make that decision for yourself and your happiness. And look at you now. Glowing, vibrant.
Talk about bossed up. I bossed up so much, y'all, that people like, she got a nigga in the background. It's a being taking care of her right now. She ain't no way she gonna walk away. What she would have. I'm single, y'all. Yeah. Okay, just put that out there.
Look at her. Definitely. Don't come on our platform trying to get chose. Look at this.
I'm single.
Yeah. Single, just letting y'all know.
It's a trend. Everybody on their platform be single.
He trying to get chose.
They do.
John Scott still asking.
Right. Every time I post a story, John Scott be like, anybody look at that? Yeah, John. And I ain't tell you. You're thirsty.
Definitely single, just letting y'all know.
Oh, maybe John didn't. Never mind.
Relax. I don't know. I don't tell you, John Scott does come from a big family. Anyway.
No, that's crazy. But
I just think, that's important. So what did it look like moving forward with, did you pack, he packed, who packed their shit and got out?
So for real, this is how it went. Like, and something big is coming up in October 1st because that will make year 3 for me, right?
Wow. This is fresh.
Oh, yeah. It's fresh.
But for me, like when you move intentionally and you are intentional about your healing, you're intentional about your growth, exponential shit will happen for you.
That's true.
Like exponentially. You told me to
read that book. Dang, I forget what it was. It'll come to me. Keep going now.
So how did this happen? October 1st, I actually had to fly out to Florida for work. And I was just like, okay, this week I'm gonna be cool. Like, we're gonna have this space between us. I came back that weekend to get more clothes and just threw a whole fit. And that was the moment that I was like, when you talked about happiness and things like that, I'm like, I can't, because this will cause me to have a miscarriage. If I continue ranting and raving and trying to rationalize, I will lose this baby. And I don't want to lose this baby. So when I walked away with 2 weeks worth of work clothes because I was an auditor. So I traveled, like the shit that I was traveling with. That's all I had. My bank account was cleared out. I had no money. So if I didn't have my company credit card, I would not have had to eat. I was homeless. I was sleeping on my friends' couches with my babies. And I'm like, all right, this baby going to lay on top of me and this baby going to lay on the side. Yeah, I'm going to lay on this so that they know it's cool. Like, we just having sleepovers. Like, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. In a week, like maybe 3 weeks later, ended up getting my own place. I bought my kids beds and then I was sleeping on the floor. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's why, like, people are like, oh, they're trying to do it and this is what nah, I'm trying to tell y'all, your happiness is worth so much more. It was worth me sleeping on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I bought my first bed by myself, paid it off. My first couch by myself, paid it off. And from this point, I ended up becoming a plant-based vegan my entire pregnancy, like 9 months. And so from there, it was just, there were more things in the background that were done to me. You guys gonna have to wait for the book or catch it on another like episode. But in that, right, people, my name was thrown in the trash. Like, things that you're gonna have to deal with. But when I tell you, somebody said that somebody has to always keep talking to keep up with their lie. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand it. But now when people see me and they like, it's kind of like Tina and Ike Turner, right? And then she's like, I don't want nothing. I'm going to just keep your name. Like, you keep everything else.
I want the name.
So I kept the name. So now it's like, oh, is that your sister? Nah, nigga.
they
You lost, bro.
Oh, that's
You lost,
crazy. Niggas is asking him about you. Oh, that's wild.
That's crazy. But I mean, look, you're here. You're doing a great job as a mother.
What is that conversation like?
What conversation?
With your, like, I'm sure you said it's been 3 years. So have you had that conversation with the kids? Like
my kid? Oh, so my kids, when everything happened, and this is important too, right? Because kids understand the difference. Right. Like they know some shit is up. Like my life has changed. And just like the pandemic, when I tell people, like, y'all got to remember some of these kids are going into depression because they're not in school. They're not seeing their friends. So they're dealing with things emotionally like we are too. I knew she was dealing with things, my daughter. And so my thing would be, it's not you, your other parent, your dad. He's just working on himself right now. He loves you very much. Just instilling and reinforcing that love, right? At this time, he was getting his master's. So I'm like, oh, he's in school. It's cool. Wooty, wooty, woo. Just reinforcing like positivity. But I'm here for you. Don't worry about it. Now she gets to the place where she's like, all right, this not making sense. This not making sense, sis. What you talking about? And I'm like, people, and this is where I began teaching them. People have the responsibility to treat you right. Okay, how do you break that down to a kid? What does that feel like? I want you to play with me at the park. I want you to take me in. I want you to come pick me up. I want you to do. Okay, are you experiencing those things? No. Or if you experience them, it's like, boop, boop. Sprinkle here, sprinkle there. It's not consistent. Okay. That does not mean that someone doesn't love you. That just means that they are working towards that or being able to do that. But also understanding that people have the responsibility to treat mommy right. What does that look like? If somebody is not treating mommy right, then they lose access to you because it's my job to, one, protect myself and to protect what belongs to me. These little girls, right? And if I'm not here, who gonna take care of them? Taking care of kids is not buying them French fries and LOL dolls. It's not that. It's so much more.
French fries is fire.
French fries are fire. We buy French fries every day. Like today we had Bojangles French fries with Cajun seasoning. Like
French fries are fire.
They are definitely fire. Okay, it's true. But it's so much more than that. So the conversation became, they had their own experiences. And I feel like I could definitely tell them offline to y'all. But they had their own experiences where my oldest was just like, nah, I'm good. And I had to go to therapy. Like I had to go to therapy and take her to therapy too. Because I'm like, I don't know how to handle this. Is she okay? Like, nah, kids have their own emotions. How do they process it? She understands that other people's actions have nothing to do with her. How do I know that she understands this concept? Her teacher called me. This was 2019. She's in kindergarten. She's in second grade now. I don't know, whatever.
Math is going math.
She
you know how to lie.
She just gonna skip first. It's 3 grades there. She skipped one.
She did get skipped though. She got skipped. She got skipped.
All right. So then that's what the issue comes.
She got skipped.
Tell the story. Like, let's tell the story.
She got skipped.
You gonna skip first grade. No, she skipped first grade. And that's why you can't do bad.
She got skipped. She definitely got skipped. And so her teacher called and she's like, Miss Richardson, nothing is wrong, but I just want to tell you what happened, what I saw on the playground. So in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck happened? Emery's a fighter, but she's one of those people like, I'm not a fighter, don't push me. Right. So her teacher was like, yeah, she had like a situation on the playground and she told the little boy, I don't like that. You need to go work on your self-love.
Ooh.
And
Fire.
Walked off.
Fire.
And her teacher, she was like, that was the most impressive thing that I've ever seen. And she was like, and Emery went off and continued to play. Then she was like, then another little girl wasn't sharing with her. And she said to her, the little girl, I swear to God, y'all, the teacher's telling me this. She's like, Emery told the little girl, you need to work on the consistency in this friendship, and walked off. And I'm like,
Fire.
Yo,
Fire.
whose kid is that? I'm like, yo, that's my kid.
On the playground spitting bars.
And I know these little kids like, what, bitch? Like,
ain't nobody trying to listen to you, Janae. Relax.
They went home like,
hear you, Janae.
Mom, what's consistency?
Turn on the toxic in this playground. Nobody trying to hear this.
I think being a parent, I feel like our parents had it hard, coming from where they came from and everything. But right now, there is a completely different situation with parenting right now. And it's part of the reason why I have a hard time wrapping my mind around like bringing a child here because we got racism. We're still dealing with racism. Unfortunately, we're dealing with COVID. We're dealing with Corona. Like kids are learning from home. Yeah. That right there paired with racism, man, the world is on fire.
The world is on fire. We're in an apocalypse.
How are you navigating this with the girls? I mean, I'm sure you're telling them about it, but what does that look like for you?
Yeah. So I want to speak to racism first. Okay. We had an experience. I provide, again, I'm trying to give y'all this disclaimer. I am not the end all be all. This is how I'm choosing to parent.
This is A Richbook
A Richbook parenting. I choose to give my kids experiences. So what's funny is one of my friends came over. We all chilling. I'm like, oh, what y'all want to eat? And Emery and Ava, Emery's like, oh, I think we should have Thai food. And then Ava's like, nah, I think we should have Japanese food. And my friend's like, what happened to McDonald's or Burger King? I provide them with experiences so that they can have culture to understand that life is more than French fries, McDonald's. Do they still get that on occasion, right?
So somebody broke ass son can't take her kid to freaking Red Lobster and she think it's a fork and knife restaurant. Her kids get experiences.
They're going to put the thing around in it. Like, no.
You're showing your trauma.
It's okay. I support you.
You are showing your trauma.
Okay.
We're healing. I was triggered.
Okay. Yeah, we saw.
Okay. We can heal through it.
Somebody in the comments said, somebody said, Olive Garden is not taking
I'm like, we can heal through it.
I love it there.
Let's heal through it.
Okay, so the girls love Japanese and Thai.
So we went to a Thai restaurant. This particular day, I had on like an overall jumper with no makeup on, and I still had my locks. I had like 2 space buns, and I just took them out. The restaurant ended up putting a 20% gratuity on my bill. I already did the math, right? So when I go out, it's 4 of us. My 2 little ones split a meal, and then the oldest had her own, and then I had my like veggie plate or whatever. So I already knew what my bill was. So when he brought me the check, I just gave my card because like I'm like, all right, I already knew what I'm gonna invest in this experience. When I got it back to sign it, I'm like, $80. I'm like, you ain't even give me a chance to tip you. But $80 ended up saying like, oh, we can add gratuity, showed me on the menu, but that was for their lunchtime menu and it was for groups that were 6 or more. So I ended up taking the receipt that I signed, but because restaurants have to keep it in order to process payments. And I called the police because the worker came running out the restaurant after me. And I'm like, look, the money already came out of my bank account. So back the fuck up off of me. Didn't. Was yelling, ranting, raving, acting like, oh, this black woman is stealing her food. She's dining and dashing. Motherfucker, I make more than you. Chill out. I ain't gotta do that.
Right.
Call the cops. The cops did come, and it happened to be a white male officer and a white female officer. The white male officer was so nasty to me. And he looked at me like, and this is no offense to anyone who receives government assistance. I received government assistance before in my life, but the stereotype, right, of how they look at welfare. Yo, she a welfare queen or some shit. Like she got 3 kids. She black. She probably got 3 different baby dads. Like that was how he was like, so what's the problem here? Okay, well, didn't even let me finish. I'm going to just go talk to the restaurant. Oh, he's saying you didn't pay your bill. I said, well, if you would have stood here and finished listening to me, then I would have showed you that it's here on my bank statement that shows that they took this money out of my account. The problem is that they charged me gratuity and they shouldn't have. Oh, well, they can do whatever they want. Like he was just so nasty. Like he was just so not understanding. I'm like, nigga, I called y'all. I called you. And I'm like, on top of that, you a public servant. And with the money that I fucking make, nigga, I pay you. Come on. Like, what are we doing? But my children saw that. And so I could not yell, y'all. Because I couldn't express my rage. Because at this time, I'm like, shit, they can arrest me right here, take my kids and say that I'm being insubordinate. They can make up some shit at this point, really right? Could. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to just... And he watched me walk right to my big-ass black truck and was like, oh, guess who got a report? Guess who... Oh, I'm court... Don't let this chill-ass shit fool you.
Right.
Oh, you about to get a letter to the city. It's about to happen. And so Emery was just like, that cop was not nice. Why was he? So I had to break down that it's not all police officers. It just happened to be this one officer. It just happened to be this one experience. Police are there to protect and serve because I don't want that narrative. The same thing like about even Black males and Black men and the father. Like that one experience is not indicative of all, like of the entire group, of the entire experience with them. So what was her response? Oh, don't even worry about it, Mom. We don't gotta go back to that restaurant. We can open our own. You can do the money and I can take the order and we can find somebody to cook.
I love it.
Like that's her thought process behind it.
Unfortunately, though, on the other side, that's not what they're teaching their kids. I recently heard a story. Somebody shared a story with me about how they live in this very nice neighborhood. Of course, their kids play with the other kids. Their child came home and they said, Mommy, the little girl said that I can't play with her because I'm Black or something like that. Am I telling the story right? Yeah. And she had to sit down and have that conversation with her daughter about that because there are still people out here in the world telling their children that they can't play with other children because of their race. Like, Absolutely. What? That really blows my mind.
Yeah. So Emery, like, yo, maybe y'all need to have Emery on the podcast. When she goes to this camp every summer called Glam Camp, and it's like a girls' glam fitteds camp. And this year it was like more condensed because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And the director was just like, if anybody know they Black, Emery knows she Black.
Like it.
Like she blackity black. And she's just like, nah, the way y'all treat people, that's not how we treat people. So now she's at the point, and there's a meme, and I know we didn't even get to that, but there's a meme where it says with Ike Turner, and it's like how I look at white people when they hear my kids say hi and they don't respond back. That's how Emery is. Like if Jace or Ava is like, hi, and they don't speak, she's like, they didn't hear my sister say hi. And I'm like, sis.
Relax. Hey, sis. We can't get them all. We can't get them all.
Calm it down.
Sis.
I love it. I think okay, last thing before we move on. Corona. How are the girls navigating this with not being in school and everything? I know the 2-year-old, were they in childcare before?
Yeah, so Emory, they go to a Pan-African school called St. Cia Academy. Y'all support, as much as we're supporting Black businesses, small Black businesses, support small private owned Black institutions that are educating our young children. So they go to that. So Ava actually was in their kindergarten program, but I was like, it'll be best if I just pull her out because she's still 3, even though she was like excelling. I'm like, nah, let's take our time. So what does that look like? The virtual online experience, very engaging. The school provides like all the experiment resources and things like that. Like everything is laid out. So there's not much that you have to do or that. And it's so intimate and it's so engaging. And then they see themselves, right? They also offer like COVID friendly, like tennis, like those type of extracurricular experiences. So you sign up for it, meet at the park and do things like that. In the house though, going to the store for a long time, I did not let my kids come out the house. Just being mindful and protective of them. Mm-hmm. But now we go everywhere. They see me putting my shoes on. They like, got my shoes, got my mask, got my shoes, got my mask. But just, we do elderberry, like just, I'm teaching them about health, like holistic health, like taking care of themselves, things that I was not taught. So Corona, Emery, she just be like, the Rona ain't going yet.
Right, like how is it still here?
I'm like,
how are we still hanging out with Miss Rona?
I don't know.
We all saying that.
But it gives us more time for more like outdoor experiences, taking walks, doing hopscotch. Like I had a cookout. The cookout ended up turning into a block party. I'm talking about we was double dutching on the street, hopscotch and stuff out here. I'm like, it's lit. Like just giving them those cultural experiences.
So they don't really feel like they're missing out on anything.
Nah.
It doesn't feel like, I think if you approach it the wrong way, it can feel like everything is crashing down. Yeah. But I guess the key is to make it seem like everything is still normal.
Right. And pivot. Like, so I'm working on publishing an ebook. I talked about this on my live the other day. Run your life like a business. Mm-hmm. Systems and processes. And business, even with COVID, what COVID showed was how can we pivot as business owners? How can we pivot as individuals, as people? the people who survived and thrived were able to pivot their business in a different way, a different perspective. Some restaurants that were not able to open, they ended up starting catering and meal prepping because people, even though they're at home, they don't want to fucking cook. So, okay, well, this is how we're going to do it, or we're going to deliver and we're going to amp it up this way. And so just being able to pivot what that looks like. The only thing that is noticeable that my kids are like, you playing, is that they haven't been on a plane this year. Cause we travel, like we travel, all of me and my girls, even down to the baby. She's only 2, have been on flights. Like we catch flights. So we was going to Canada and we were going to Africa, but we can't go. So I'm like, oh, it's okay. We just going to go next year. It's cool. Right. We just got to be mindful. Don't even worry about it. So that's the only thing. So I'm thinking about taking them on like a domestic flight somewhere. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Don't go to Florida.
No, don't go to Florida.
Well, go, but be careful. They wilding out there.
Oh, they wilding in Florida? Mm-hmm. Oh, nah. When I see people wilding, like everybody going to Mexico, I'm like, nah. I'm going to just stay here. So we may end up going to the mountains or to the beach or something.
I mean, everybody's going to the same place in Mexico. Like, you don't have to go to that place. Like, no. There's other places. There's mountains in Mexico. Tulum's not the only place people have to go.
I was like, what is Tulum? I'm like, what is that? Like, y'all, I'm the most.
I don't even want to tell y'all the spot we went to in Mexico. We're going to keep that on the hush because that's in case we want to dip off. Right, Bo?
That's so cute. That's so cute. They're cute. You be getting sick, don't you?
You ain't seen him with his girlfriend.
It's trash.
You want to talk about sick? They be whispering sweet nothings, licking on each. I seen her lick his ear one time.
Now you see.
I was like, damn,
listen. Now you see what goes. You see what goes on when there's cap. Like, big cap.
She capping.
You the one with the cap on.
You got 2 over there. Like, it's big cap. Big cap.
All right, guys. Before we wrap up this conversation, A Richbook, do you want to tell the people? Well, we'll save it. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back with our final thoughts. All right, and we're back. So for our final thoughts, I kind of want to touch a little bit more on parenting. I know you took some things into parenting that you learned from your parents. What is something that you feel like you had to unlearn to be able to parent your girls in the right way?
Definitely listening.
Ooh.
Listening to understand. And a lot of different faiths. In one particular faith, they say from the mouths of babe, right? God will speak. Mm-hmm. So even just listening to children instead of be like, all right, be quiet, like chill out. You don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're talking about. Because children will give you some really good ass ideas. You'll be like, damn, this is not working. And they'll say, well, what if you try it like this? And you're like, well, you don't know nothing. But nah, all right, let's try it like that. And then it works. And I'll be high-fiving my kids. I'm like, well, shit, thanks. Mommy didn't think about it like that. Thank you for offering me this new perspective. Thank you for offering me this new observation. So definitely listening and bigging up my kids. Like, no cap. I went to a conference and Emery came with me and I had to speak. She had on pink rain boots, a polka dot shirt, and like some striped pants. And before she was smiling, posing. I'm like, and I said, yo, it's a shame how much I hype my kids up. I'm like, it's a shame. And sometimes that's one thing that I like. It's okay to hype your kid up. Yeah, it's okay to big them up. It's okay to show them hella love, that they build that confidence, because if they don't have that confidence at home and they go out into that real world with somebody like, you think you better because you this. Nah, bitch, I am better.
Man, listen, we are raising. I'm not raising nobody. I'm raising these plants. These plants are growing.
I got plants too.
Okay? These plants are, but you, I feel good. You know, sometimes I look at parents and I'm like, ooh, don't know about them kids, but the Richbook girls, they good.
Richbook girls, they good. They funny.
They gonna be good. I love to see it. I really do. So I mean, if anybody out there is listening and they're inspired to have babies, we got a playlist for that.
Oh, I do not want that playlist. Sis ain't having no more kids. If you don't have kids, don't do it. Do it when you're ready.
Look at the advice she finally gave us.
This is for my millennials, for real, because I have too many people out here who like, oh, I got baby fever. Fuck your baby fever, okay?
Done gas them kids up. And then done stopped and told us, you know what? Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Crazy. Look, they be your old people.
It's work. It's work. It's definitely work.
What is this? Oh, we're here now. You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in to WMEZ. This week's baby maker is from, I might be fucking this name up. I apologize. It is ZENESOUL. ZENESOUL. ZENE Soul. And this song is called Big Game here on WMEZ.
Textually active.
Yeah, that whole playlist, like I used to listen to it when I was studying. Now listen to it. Like, you know, sometimes you want to hear music that you never hear before, some words that you don't know. Like I listened to that playlist so much that I started knowing the songs to the words. I'm like, damn, I'll chill out a little bit. But yeah, some of those artists really good. Actually, all of those artists are really good. That playlist is good for a mood. I know we call it the baby maker playlist, but it's
a vibe.
When you just like vibing.
So I can use it when I'm skating.
Yeah, you can. And
all
you just feel like,
I'm one of those vibe ass skaters. I'm not trying to be out here.
You got to give me the details on your skates. I need some skates. Are they one inline or for?
No, they're quads. They're quads. I got them from Impala. And so what I've been learning about the skates, that they're hybrid wheels. So I learned to skate outside.
Ooh.
And now I'm learning to skate inside a rink. Completely different.
Yeah, that floor be
completely different.
Slippery. All right. Pull out your memes, guys. What do you guys have for your meme of the week? I can start because I just filmed mine a couple seconds ago. Hold on, it's over here. I'm pulling it out now. All right. So when you were talking about, you know, being expressive as, of course it goes to the top of my album. When you're talking about being expressive as a child, this is what I thought of. So I tweet for the girls that stayed on the deans and principals list, but also got too talkative and somehow, damn, I read that wrong. I'll say it again. She was talking. I tweet for all the girls that stayed on the dean's list and principal's list, but too talkative, somehow remained written on their report cards. This is, your daughter is a great student. She just talks to everyone and is safe.
Now look at you doing a podcast.
That's funny because I definitely did get that.
Right. And I always got too talkative. And there's another one. I tweet for the niggas that got too talkative on all their elementary school report cards, but was too shy to talk to women. I was always too talkative, but shy to talk to the guys.
That was me.
What y'all got?
I'll go next.
Yeah.
Because I was in my bag. I've been in my bag. Continue to be in this bag. Question. Did you see my story? Answer. No. You posted an inspirational quote about letting go of what don't serve you, so I muted it.
Oh, okay. I got one. That yeah. That's
really
wild.
Good.
That's
really fucking good.
So okay, so are these like from Twitter?
It doesn't matter.
Let's find something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay, so one meme, I don't even have it up because I remember it. And it's funny because I shared it multiple times, but it just came up on my story. And it's like you walk into heaven and you like, God, I see you got some roaches. You see your ex.
You
see you walking to heaven, you see your ex and you're like, God, I see you got roaches. And God
here?
Don't start. Don't start.
That's hilarious.
That meme was hilarious.
That's the don't start.
That's funny.
That is great. Okay. So
even if you get rid of the X part that you said.
I thought it was, God, you got some roaches, not the, yeah. That's crazy. So A Richbook, what do you have coming up? Where can they find you? What are you working on next? What's going on?
For real, stay connected with me. Sorry, on Instagram at a.richbook, on Twitter A Richbook. I have a interactive journal called Ask, Receive, Act that is available for pre-order for only $11.11. And what is that? Jumpstarting the life that you desire. So if anything that I shared resonated with you, this particular workbook just talks about how to level up in your life experience and making it your own. Follow the podcast at For the Love of Millennials. Get you some merch. For the Love of Millennials. We got some sweatshirts coming. We got some really dope things. So definitely stay connected. Once you come to A Richbook, you'll find everything that you need to stay connected with me. Thank y'all for having me. For real. Thank y'all for having me.
No, thank you for coming. I feel like people often say They really enjoyed the Tiffany episode. What other ones do they like?
John Scott.
They love John Scott.
Anytime we bring the old gang back together.
Yep, they loved our friend with the Zodiac. So I think you might be in the Hall of Fame with TA with this one.
I hope
It was the gems that she was dropping, babe. It was the emotional intelligence for me.
I'm starting to think they don't even like us.
I know, they be like, nah. I mean, it's the ones with the guests for me. And what? We come here every week. Anyway, if you like what you heard here, we'll be back next Tuesday at 6 a.m. If you're a new listener, shout out to y'all. We kept it clean for y'all because A Richbook was here. It's just a warning. It gets a little crazy if you go scrolling through these episodes.
And if you just seen anything about your timeline lately, we could have went there, but we decided not to.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys because I was trying to catch up to all of the everything. I am so.
We don't talk about it.
We're gonna hold it for next week. We're gonna let it marinate. Sometimes when shit hot, you gotta let it cool off. That shit is hot right now.
Right now.
We're gonna let it cool off. We're gonna see y'all next Tuesday.
I might have to put an album out.
You're gonna have to do what?
I might have to put an album out.
An album out? Yeah.
Me too. Can I get a feature?
Just tweet album going live at.
All right, let's go. I gotta go to work. Let's go.
We'll be back next week, next Tuesday at 6 a.m. If you want to keep up with us during the week, we're on Instagram at Textually Active Pod. We're on YouTube at Textually Active Pod. We just went through our YouTube channel. It is very nostalgic.
Okay. It's about growth. Like, you can
started
see
from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah, you can see the growth.
Anyway, you can keep up with us on Facebook at Textually Active Pod. We love you guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Textually Active podcast. This podcast is a full-service production from the Open Media Lab. Be sure to check in every Textual Tuesday along with following them on all social media at Textually Active Pod. Textually Active is a part of the Open Media Network.